Google has made a big policy change for Android developers. Starting in 2027, every developer will need to register and verify their identity if they want to make apps for Android phones. Google claims the rule will prevent harmful apps, but many developers feel the policy restricts developers' freedom and makes Android more like the Apple's closed ecosystem. Let's understand how this policy affects an Android user. Right now, if an app is removed from the Play Store, you can likely download it from another site or a third-party app store. A good example is Fortnite. When Epic Games had a dispute with Google, Fortnite was offered directly through their website. The new policy gives Google more authority to decide who can and cannot distribute apps. For instance, currently ad blocker apps are banned on Play Store. In future, Google can also force browsers to remove ad blocker extensions. Another problem with giving Google the authority for gatekeeping Android is that they would ultimately start using AI to filter out apps and set up another AI for dispute resolution. To give you an idea of what this would feel like, let me describe a first-hand experience. Few days ago, I uploaded a video on YouTube related to website development. For some reason, YouTube's algorithm flagged my video as politically motivated. I spent hours trying to find the form to dispute this claim, but after multiple failed attempts, I had to delete the video and move on. Another issue is that the policy change will also require registered developers to pay a one-time $25 registration fee. It may not sound like much, but for small developers, this can be a real barrier. And there's always the chance that Google might raise the fee in future, maybe match it to the Apple's $99 developer fee, which is paid annually. And here's how you will feel the impact. When developers face high cost, those costs usually get passed on to the users. That means fewer free apps and more apps overloaded with intrusive ads and pop-ups. This would ultimately turn our phones into a digital version of New York's Times Square. Have you noticed how YouTube has increased the number of advertisements on its platform? I have to watch ads on videos that I have created because Google owns the right to show ads to cover their cost. Just imagine what other developers will do with their apps to recover their expenses. Another major concern with the new rule is that of censorship. Since developers must now reveal their identity, it becomes much easier for governments or powerful institutions to track them. This makes it harder for developers to stay anonymous and build a fair digital ecosystem. So what are the alternatives available to an Android user? Some skilled users can switch to custom Android systems like Graphene OS or Lineage OS. Though they give you more freedom, they have their own challenges. First, they are usually not available for the latest phone models, and second, installing them requires unlocking the bootloader and rooting the phone. This creates another issue of waiving the manufacturer's warranty. So, if you make a mistake during installation, your phone could potentially become unusable and you may end up paying for a new phone. These growing restrictions and one-sided decision-making by big tech companies is a wake-up call for everyone to collaborate on an open-source ecosystem. However, to make this transition easy, developers will have to make an extra effort to ensure that open-source alternatives are easily accessible. They will have to figure out ways to cut down the lengthy installation processes, and at the same time, a major upgrade will be required to improve the user interface.